What's going on, Slay Baes? It's Ashley and welcome back to my channel. Now in today's video, I'm gonna be doing like a massive, huge eyeshadow palette declutter. No lie, like no joke, I'm getting rid of over 100 plus eyeshadow palettes. Like, it's extreme. This eyeshadow palette collection has been like 5 years in the making, so some things are expired, some things are like lightly used, which I am going to donate to Project Beauty Share, so I'm not just throwing all of these things in the trash. In my last declutter video, somebody said, I wish I could pick your trash, but I'm not throwing these products in the trash. I am donating lightly used products. So with that, if you guys like these kind of videos, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Y'all already know the drill. And with that, let's just get into this big old mess. All right, so before we begin, I just wanted to show you guys a quick overview of what my eyeshadow palette collection currently looks like. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10 drawers filled to the brim of different eyeshadow palettes. Now, this collection has been going on for several years at this point. This goes all the way back to when I first started out on YouTube, so please don't be alarmed by how many eyeshadow palettes I have. Since we are going to be moving soon, I definitely want to downsize on my collection because honestly, I don't reach for all of these palettes often. There are a select few that I use every single day, but some of them have been sitting, some of them I need to get rid of, and honestly, some of them I just want to toss all together because they have been sitting for so long. So this video is going to have a similar setup to my last declutter video. I want to bring you guys super close just so that way you can see what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of. So the first palette I have on top is this one right here. This is the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors Vacation palette. This is a really awesome palette, you guys. I personally really like it. I'm definitely going to keep this in my collection because I feel like it is a staple palette for me. Another palette I'm keeping is this little mini nude Natasha Denona palette. I get a lot of use out of this. I actually take this with me when I'm traveling just because it is really small, and honestly I feel like it's good to have very small palettes within your collection because I feel like they're really awesome for traveling, and this color story is just incredible. So definitely keeping this. I have this palette right here, which is a really beautiful palette. Honestly, I haven't gotten around to trying it. I'm sure the formula is absolutely incredible, but unfortunately I just don't see myself reaching for this day to day. Plus I have a lot of other warm tone eyeshadow palettes that I use more frequently, so I'm going to donate this one. Here I have the CoverGirl Revolution eyeshadow palette. I think this is a beautiful palette. I did a full look using the top row right here, but I have so many different warm tone palettes in my collection that I don't want to keep all of them. So that's the only reason I'm getting rid of this. So I'm just going to put it to the side and donate it. I do have the Makeup Revolution Velvet Rose eyeshadow palette. This is a beautiful palette that I'm most definitely going to keep. Everybody has said it is a spot on dupe for the ABH Soft Glam palette, and I definitely find that to be true. I want to keep this in my collection just because I do film a lot of affordable looks on my channel, and I feel like it's awesome to keep affordable options in your collection. So let's actually see what else I have here. I have a bunch of the Wet n Wild little quads. Now, I don't see myself reaching for these often, so I'm going to put them to the side and donate them. All right, let's see here. I have the Yes Please by ColourPop, and then I also have the Through My Eyes palette by I Love City E and ColourPop. I'm most definitely going to keep this palette, you guys. I did really like it. The only shade that really gave me issues was this shade right here called Davina, but for the most part, I did really like this, so I'm keeping that. I'm also going to keep the ColourPop Yes Please palette. I do love ColourPop's formula, and I do love warm tones, so this is definitely staying in my collection. And then I have the Revolution highlighter palette. I'm just going to get rid of this, not because it's bad, but because I already have so many affordable and also high-end highlighter palettes in my collection, so this is gonna go. So in this declutter, you'll probably see a lot of NARS palettes like this, and honestly, they're beautiful, but I don't reach for them a lot. I'm probably going to keep this one just because I feel like it is a really beautiful kind of like bronzy tone eyeshadow palette. As for this one right here, I don't reach for this often, so I'm going to just give this one to a friend. So here we have the Wanderlust eyeshadow palette by LA Girl. You guys, I like this palette, but the shimmers here, they're really pretty. I did find them to be just slightly lackluster. I did have to really pack them on for them to pack a punch. So for that reason, I'm just gonna get rid of this, and also because it is very colorful, and it's not often that you guys see me reach for very colorful eyeshadow palettes. So this is going to get donated. These CoverGirl palettes are just incredible, so I'm most definitely going to put this in the keep pile. As for this e.l.f. palette, I'm actually just going to get rid of this. I don't find myself reaching for it often, so this is going to go in the donate pile. Okay, so let's see actually what else we have in here. I have this Milani blush highlighter palette type deal. I'm going to get rid of this just because this has been sitting in here and I'm not really reaching for it. Another palette I'm going to get rid of is this Makeup Revolution one. This here is an ultra blush palette by Makeup Revolution. I'm also going to get rid of this as well. I'm also going to get rid of this Revolution palette, which is meant to be a spot on dupe for ABH subculture, just because I don't reach for this ever. I'm also going to keep this Opposites Attract palette by e.l.f. This is so good. You guys are really going to love this. I'm going to get rid of the 18 Hit Wonders though, just because I do have some other very colorful, affordable palettes that I feel like are better alternatives to this one right here. I have this palette, which is called the Luna Magic Uno palette. This is by an indie brand. You guys, the formula of these eyeshadows are incredible, and that is the only reason I'm keeping this palette. I know I don't reach for them often, but I do want to put this in the front of my makeup drawer just to use it a little bit more. I do have a full video using this particular palette on my channel, which I will have linked up in the cards. I also have this Smashbox palette, which I have never used, so I'm going to give this to a friend of mine because I feel like she will really like it. I have this donut right here, which I used in a video once. I used it in my $5 and under video. It is a really good color story, but I'm not going to reach for this ever, so that is why I'm getting rid of this little donut, even though the donut is so cute. And that was everything in the first bin. Let's actually move on to bin number 2. Some other things I'm going to keep is the ABH Alyssa Edwards collaboration. I'm going to keep these two Makeup Geek palettes right here. I did purchase these with my own money, and I just haven't gotten around to playing with these two here, so I'm going to keep these. I'm also going to keep the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette. I haven't played around with this yet either, and I really want to, so this is going in the keep pile. I have a bunch of these Pro Fusion eyeshadow palettes. Honestly, they're really big. They're really bulky. They're not bad at all. I really love the quality of Pro Fusion eyeshadow palettes, but I'm going to actually get rid of them just because they do take up a lot of space in my collection. Here I have the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I want to say they remastered this palette, so I am going to donate this. Right here I have the NYX Grind palette, which is a really good dupe for ABH Subculture, so I'm going to keep this. Some other palettes that I'm either going to keep or get rid of. I'm going to get rid of this little Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. I'm going to get rid of the Maybelline City Mini palette. I'm going to get rid of this Wet n Wild one. I'm also going to get rid of, no, I'm going to keep Rosé in the Air. Going to get rid of all of these though. Like I said, CoverGirl has some beautiful eyeshadows in their collection, so I'm going to keep these two just because I feel like they are really beautiful shades. I am, however, going to get rid of this little Smashbox glitter palette. It is really beautiful as a topper, but I just don't see myself reaching for it, so I'm going to get rid of this. Also going to get rid of this. I'm going to keep the Maybelline Lemonade Craze palette because it is really good, and I'm gonna get rid of these two. So I've gotten past all 4 smaller drawers. I'm now on to the really big drawers, you guys. Honestly, these are filled to the brim with eyeshadow palettes from years ago, current eyeshadow palettes, like a mixture of a lot of things. So I see these palettes right here. I have the Maya Mia palette and also the Tamana palette, Just Your Face by ABH. I'm going to get rid of these. These are super old, and I honestly just don't reach for them anymore. I'm also going to get rid of the NYX Avant Pop palette. I have never used the Urban Decay Elements palette. I'm going to donate this. Also going to donate the Pop Beauty eyeshadow palette. I am, however, going to keep the Huda Beauty Desert Dust eyeshadow palette. I feel like out of all of the palettes, this one is definitely one of my favorites from Huda Beauty, so going in the keep pile. Ooh, this palette right here, this is such a throwback palette. This is the Urban Decay Electric palette. I remember buying this with my own money. It is such a keepsake palette, but I'm going to get rid of it just for the sake of me not even reaching for it, and yeah, I don't want it to sit around, and it's super old and crusty, and it just has to go. I remember loving and reaching for this palette so much, but I just don't reach for it anymore. This is the Miriam collaboration. This is the contour palette she created with Pixie, so I'm just going to toss that. Also going to get rid of this little NYX palette. Gonna get rid of the Benefit Cheek Parade palette. I don't reach for this, and I honestly own all of these shades singly, and I don't need it in a big palette form, so I'm gonna get rid of that. I have a bunch of these NARS Erdem palettes. Honestly, honestly, I never got around to using these, and I feel terrible about it because I could have most definitely given these to somebody who would have really used them. So I'm just going to donate all of these. I did a full video reviewing this Too Faced Tutti Frutti collection. I did really like the purple one, but I haven't been reaching for it, so I'm going to donate that. Okay, so this is where a lot of my Too Faced and Urban Decay palettes live. NYX Suede palette, getting rid of. Model's Own palette, probably getting rid of. Ooh, this is actually really pretty. Still gonna get rid of it. I'm actually gonna give this to a friend of mine. Also gonna get rid of the Glitter Mix palette by Model's Own. There's a lot of dirt and hair in these drawers, so please do not judge me. These have been sitting here for ever. So let's move on. I have Jouer Skinny Dip. I am going to completely get rid of this. Actually, this is a really beautiful like eye topper palette, but it has been sitting in here and I don't reach for it. Also going to get rid of anything from Bad Habit, just because I want to say this brand did go out of business and I found it to be very shady, to be honest. Like, they just completely disappeared and they stopped selling palettes on their website. So I'm just going to get rid of everything Bad Habit just because you can't get their products anymore. So there's that. I have another really big drawer here. I have this little Pixie palette. Don't reach for this often. I'm going to get rid of this. Also getting rid of the BH Cosmetics Solar Flare. Don't reach for that. I got this in a swap video. This is the Glitter and Glam Blush and Bronzer Kit. It is really pretty, but don't reach for that. I just don't like palettes that are extremely bulky just because I feel like I never ever reach for them. So getting rid of that. So these here are actually Z palettes. This is when we were working on our Palette Pro eyeshadow palettes that launched last year. We have Striker Rose, After Hours, we have Tropic Like It's Hot, and Sunset Dreams. We do have them in Z palettes just because this is what we were testing them in for a long period of time. Honestly, this just brings back so much memories. I am going to get rid of these single pans, and I'm probably going to toss in like some single highlighters and stuff like that, just so that way I can get use out of these Z palettes. But I don't have any use for the single versions just because these palettes have already come out in their original packaging. But brings back so many memories. So cute. Keeping Z palettes but getting rid of these single shadows. I have this pretty vulgar eyeshadow palette. I got this in like a BoxyCharm or something. Honestly, don't really care for it. Gonna get rid of it. Also gonna get rid of the Bad Habit Artistry palette. Again, I said I was gonna get rid of anything Bad Habit. Getting rid of this. Getting rid of this. Getting rid of that. Ooh, this is actually a really beautiful palette that I'm most definitely going to keep. I love Juvia's Place eyeshadow palettes. I do have the Venus XL palette by Lime Creme. Honestly, this is such a gorgeous palette, but I don't reach for it often at all, so I'm gonna donate it, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Here I have the Laura Lee Nudie Patootie palette. You guys, this is such a beautiful palette, but it kind of got tossed in the back of my makeup drawer, so I'm gonna get rid of it, unfortunately. Sorry, Laura. I did buy this with my own money, but again, I don't reach for it, so I'm gonna donate it. I have the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I will be keeping this palette. I'm also going to keep the Masquerade palette by Juvia's Place. This is such an incredible palette, and I love Juvia's Place eyeshadows, so I'm definitely going to keep that. Some other things I'm getting rid of in here is this little 3D contour palette, this little color correcting palette. I'm going to get rid of the neutral eyes, the foiled eyes, and I'm probably going to get rid of this Morphe palette. I actually have no idea what this Morphe palette is. Oh, this is actually an iconic palette from Morphe, but I do own the Bronze Gold palette, and I also own a bunch of very warm tone shades, so I'm gonna get rid of this. I have this little Essentials Jet Set palette in here by Jouer. I'm gonna keep this. I have never used this, but I feel like this will be a really awesome like travel with eyeshadow palette, and it's super small and mini, very compact. I like it. I also have the Back Talk palette by Urban Decay. We have some blushes and also some eyeshadows here. I'm gonna keep this. I never got around to fully experimenting with this, so I wanna keep it in my collection. And the last thing I'm gonna get rid of is the Melissa Michelle palette that she created with Ulta Beauty. I honestly did really like this palette, but it's really big, it's bulky. I don't really care for bulky packaging, so I'm gonna donate this. To think I only have 4 big bins left. Crazy. We're literally speeding through this. I'm not really hesitating when it comes to getting rid of these eyeshadow palettes, which I honestly really love. I'm gonna get rid of the Luna palette by Bad Habit. I'm also gonna donate this by Rimmel. Gonna get rid of the Rock Nudes by Maybelline. Y'all, I don't even reach for these anymore, so these are definitely getting donated. So I have Karen's first ever collaboration with ColourPop. I have all of these singles here. Honestly, I'm probably just going to take them out of this bulky packaging and just pop them in a Z palette and use them in my freelance makeup kit because they are really, really beautiful shades. I also have another one right here. Super, super pretty. Again, I'm just going to pop these out and use them in a Z palette. Ooh, you guys, I have a bunch of these Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palettes. These are incredible. Definitely keeping these. I really love the shape. I love how light they are. This one is really, really pretty. I'm going to keep that one as well. And what is this one? Is this one purple? Ooh, this is actually a nude one. Keeping this as well. I have the I Love Seta EX Dose little palette here. Honestly, I just don't see myself reaching for this. I did buy this with my own money. I honestly didn't care for the black, and I honestly have all of these other shades here, so I'm going to donate this. Some other things I'm getting rid of is this Urban Decay Beach eyeshadow palette. It is really, really beautiful, but I just don't reach for it, so getting rid of that. Gonna get rid of this Rimmel palette, the Bad Habit palette. I'm gonna keep this little highlighter palette by Milani. It is really, really nice. What is in here? Are these like singles? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this by Ulta Beauty. I also have the ColourPop I Think I Love You palette. Super pretty, very neutral. Gonna keep this. As you can see, at one point I had my palette drawer organized, but things just got tossed on top of each other and that went out the window. I'm gonna get rid of this, getting rid of that. Gonna get rid of the Total Temptation palette by Maybelline. Oh my gosh, these are so old. I have the Graffiti Nudes palette, Blush Nudes, the Nudes, also a Master Bronze and Blush palette. I'm going to keep the Master Bronze and Blush palette, but I'm going to get rid of these. So here I have a bunch of e.l.f. palettes, but I want to say I was in Ulta recently and I saw that they reformulated a lot of their eyeshadow palettes, so I'm going to get rid of all of these. I have some stuff from Pure and also a Becca Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm just going to get rid of all of these. All right, so we're about halfway done at this point. I have this little palette right here by Too Faced. This is a holiday palette. Gonna get rid of that. I'm also gonna get rid of this by Benefit. This is just a little cheek palette, I wanna say. I don't really reach for things like this often, and I know they're really helpful like in palette form, but I find that when they're in packaging like this, I just don't reach for them at all just because they're super big and bulky. I have these. These are by Fantasy Makers by Wet n Wild. I got these years ago. Never ever opened them. A part of me wants to keep them for Halloween, so you know what, I'm just going to get rid of them just because they have been sitting for a couple years, so going in the trash. Something else I'm getting rid of is this little pineapple palette here by Too Faced. I just find that this is very, very pricey for the money in which you get. I do really love the quality, but I don't reach for it, so I'm going to donate it. Also going to donate this by Whaley. This is actually really, really pretty. You know what, I'm going to keep this just because of the size, and I do really love the colors in here, and I also really enjoyed the formula. I'm going to get rid of this. This is a Brow and Shadow palette by Vegas Day and Eylure. I have these little eyeshadow palettes by Charlotte Tilbury. I do love the formula of Charlotte Tilbury products, so I'm going to keep both of these. So down here I have a bunch of products from the GGX Maybelline collection. I'm just going to donate all of these because I don't find myself reaching for them. Plus, I want to say this was a limited edition. So we're finally getting down to the very end here. I do have some eyeshadow palettes here. This is a Z palette that I put together. It's a mixture between Makeup Geek eyeshadows, Belfiore eyeshadows, and also ABH eyeshadows. This used to be my go-to travel palette. I love it so much. So I'm definitely keeping this. I actually want to put this in the front of my makeup collection again, just so that way I could use it a lot more than I have been. Ooh, we have the Urban Decay and Gwen Stefani collaboration. I did not use this at all, really, and it's kind of sad because I feel like I could have donated it or given it to somebody who may have used it. So I'm actually going to donate these. These are very, very gently used, and I feel like somebody will really, really love these. Right here I do have a nude colored blush palette. This is so incredibly beautiful. I'm going to put this aside and keep this in my freelance makeup kit just because there are so many different shades that I feel like will work with a lot of different skin tones. So keeping this. Oh my gosh. So this right here is a MAC palette that I built when I was first starting out on YouTube. Oh my God. I can't believe I bought like these colorful shades here. I can, however, see why I purchased all of these warm tone shades here. This has been sitting around for a while. Honestly, I'm just going to completely get rid of this just because I don't see myself really reaching for this. So I'm just going to donate it. I have this by Pure. It says Love Your Selfie Too. Honestly, I didn't really reach for this. This is still brand new, and I don't even think I really dipped into this, so I'm going to donate this. And the packaging is just bulky. I don't really love bulky packaging, so that's a no. I also have this by Bad Habit. Again, I am donating anything that is from Bad Habit. Unfortunately, this has to go. Also, the Earth palette, rarely reach for this. This is another e.l.f. palette. Probably won't use that. What is this? Ooh, this is the Just Peachy Mattes palette by Too Faced. I'm definitely keeping this. I love the color tones in here, and the formula is just incredible. So this is definitely a must keep. I have this here from Ace Beauty. I got this in a boxy charm and I never really used it. This is such a beautiful palette. I have no idea what the formula is really going to be like, so I want to keep it around and test it out on my channel. Another palette by Bad Habit, which I'm going to donate. I also have this contour kit by ABH, gonna donate that, and this Deck of Scarlet palette, gonna donate. I have the Perfect Filter palette by NYX. This is a really awesome palette, but I do have a lot of warm tone palettes just like this, so I'm gonna donate that. I'm also gonna donate this by ColourPop. This was a collaboration with Ava Gutowski. Not that I don't like this palette, I love the formulas, but I have so many different warm tone palettes that I really just don't need to keep something like this around. I have the KKW and Mario collaboration. I did really like the formula of this, so I am going to keep this. I have an e.l.f. Prism palette, gonna donate. And then I also have this Electric Pop palette by Kevin Aquan. Don't reach for it, so I'm gonna donate this as well. In here I have some palettes from Morphe. I have the 35P and the 35F palette. I have no idea what these even look like, to be honest. So here I have this palette. Ooh, this is actually a really nice one. This is really pretty, like a really pretty fall palette. Do I need this? You know what? I'm going to donate this. Also, this one right here. I want to say that this is a purple palette. Yeah, I'm definitely going to donate this as well. I have these two palettes right here. This one is by Kat Von D. This one is from, I want to say Oakland, and I never really got around to comparing the two. They literally are spot on dupes for each other. I honestly just don't see myself doing the comparison. I don't see myself using the metal palette, so I'm going to get rid of it. And lastly, I have another palette by Ava and ColourPop that I'm getting rid of. And I'm also going to get rid of this little chromatic eyeshadow palette by e.l.f. To my surprise, I had this little eyeshadow palette drawer hidden in my collection. So I'm gonna go through it really quick. I have the Riviera palette, which I'm most definitely going to keep. I did have some issues with this purple right here, but honestly, I did really overall love the palette. So that's staying. I am going to donate this palette by Alter Ego. You guys saw I did a full review on it. Didn't care for it, didn't love it. So this is definitely gonna get donated. I am, however, gonna keep the Huda Beauty New Nudes palette. I love this palette so much. And I have no idea why I don't reach for it more often. It is just such a gorgeous and stunning formula, so that is staying. I also have the Dream palette that Beauty Bird created in collaboration with Sigma. I love this palette so much, so this is staying in my collection. Also, this is staying in my collection. This is by Dominique Cosmetics. This is the Latte palette. I love Dominique Cosmetics so much. I love the formula, especially of the Latte eyeshadow palette. It definitely is one of my personal favorites. And I have these neon palettes by Huda Beauty. I'm definitely going to keep these. I did recently just get them, and I did full looks using these on my Instagram TV and also YouTube channel if you guys want to check that out. Another palette I'm going to donate is this right here. This is by Pure. It's called the Midnight Masquerade palette. I did get this in a boxy charm, and I wasn't thrilled about the formula, so I'm going to donate that. I am, however, going to keep the Salvaje palette by Becky G. I did just get her second collaboration, and I do intend on filming a full look using that collection on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to incorporate this as well. I'm going to keep this collaboration palette. Look at the colors, so freaking beautiful. I was blown away by this. I really love Makeup Revolution's collaborations in general, so I'm going to keep that around. Of course, I have to keep the Blood Sugar palette. By the way, I do purchase a lot of Jeffree Star's products with my own money. This was really beautiful, and and I definitely want to play around with this more on my channel. And another palette I do intend on keeping. I know I'm keeping a lot, but I'm gonna keep the Born to Run palette by Urban Decay. This was a really, really good one, and I didn't get to use it as much as I wanted to on my channel, so I have to keep this bad boy. I am going to get rid of this by Rimmel. I'm gonna get rid of this MAC blush palette because I'm gonna put these little blushes in Z palette. So I'm just gonna get rid of the plastic packaging on this. I'm gonna donate this Wet n Wild palette. Also gonna donate the Soul palette. I want to say I never really use this on my channel. It is really pretty though. I'm also gonna donate this and also this highlighter palette as well. So I wanted to give you guys an overview of all of the eyeshadow palettes I'm keeping. I know this still looks like a lot of eyeshadow palettes for one person, but again, I do YouTube videos. Reviewing palettes is my job, creating different looks is my job. So I really wanted to keep a variety of different things that would help me create different kinds of looks. In this corner over here are eyeshadow palettes that I am donating to Project Beauty Share. I have no idea how many eyeshadow palettes this is, but before I give them away, I am going to count them all just so that way I can see how many palettes I'm actually getting rid of. The 3 in the back are going to Project Beauty Share. This one right here is going to go to friends and family. I picked out some of my personal favorite eyeshadow palettes that I'm getting rid of just to donate to some of my friends and family. So they are going to get this little box right here, and then everything else is going to get donated. And that, my friends, is the end of the video. What did you guys think of the palettes I kept? And what did you guys think of the palettes I got rid of? Honestly, I feel like I got rid of a lot of eyeshadow palettes. Like, it was a little extreme. I know it was a lot to get through, but I feel very light. I feel very airy. I don't feel weighed down by all of the eyeshadow palettes in my collection. And honestly, it feels good to actually get rid of makeup and donate it to someone who could possibly and potentially use it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys didn't see my last declutter video, I will actually have it listed right up here in the cards. If you watch that video, you may or may not know I gave away 5 mystery makeup boxes in that video, and it wouldn't be a declutter video if I wasn't doing a giveaway. So I am giving away 2 mystery makeup boxes in today's video. So if you guys want to win, leave me a comment down below using the hashtag SlayBaes, and I'm not talking about enter me. I want you guys to actually talk to me. Leave me an organic comment. Say something of value, you know what I mean? So leave it down below in the comments. Also subscribe to my channel if you guys haven't already, and click that bell. Also give the video a big old like if you liked it, of course. I love you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll be sure to catch you guys all on the next one. Deuces.